President Trump's special envoy, Steve Witkoff, and U.S. Ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee, were in Gaza yesterday, the highest-ranking U.S. officials to visit the Strip since 2009. It's not immediately clear who was in charge of orchestrating the trip and its itinerary, but it did take place one day after the pair met with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in Israel. Israel currently maintains strict control over access into Gaza. It bars international media and foreign officials from entering and operating without the approval and without IDF guides. The IDF also censors material produced by journalists. The visit comes days after Trump acknowledged that there is, quote, real starvation taking place in Gaza, and the U.S. would do more to help the situation. So why did the president send these two particular people, one of whom is a real estate developer and a golfing buddy?
President Trump is a humanitarian with a big heart, and that's why he sent Special Envoy Witkoff to the region in an effort to save lives and end this crisis.
President Trump is a humanitarian with a big heart. Less than 1 week ago, when asked about taking concrete steps to pressure the Israelis to end the starvation in Gaza, the humanitarian with the big heart expressed anger that he wasn't being thanked for all the food he's already sent to Gaza and claimed no one else was sending food aid. But he's a humanitarian with a big heart. Witkoff and Huckabee both independently posted pictures from the trip on X. You are seeing them now. You can use your own judgment as to the truthfulness and goals and messaging behind these slick and highly produced pictures taken place with so much ongoing suffering. As you can see, Witkoff wore a black MAGA hat. He wore aviators, a flak jacket, and a dark print camo long-sleeve quarter-zip sweater, which didn't actually help him blend in. As to what they did, Witkoff wrote that they spent, quote, over 5 hours inside Gaza, level-setting the facts on the ground, assessing conditions, and meeting with GHF officials and other agencies in order to give Trump a clear understanding of the humanitarian situation, end quote. Huckabee added that they wanted to, quote, learn the truth about GHF aid sites while simultaneously proclaiming that GHF delivers more than 1 million meals a day, an incredible feat, exclamation point. GHF, the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, is the controversial U.S. and Israeli-backed organization that has predominantly been in charge of aid distribution in Gaza since late May. Distribution is often chaotic at the 4 sites, which are guarded by American security contractors, with armed Israeli soldiers also providing security at the sites and the roads leading to them. Since the GHF centers opened, the UN's Office of High Commissioner for Human Rights says more than 1,300 Palestinians have been killed while seeking food. 859 of those killed were in the vicinity of the GHF sites. 514 of them were along routes of food convoys. The organization says most of the killings were committed by the IDF. This week, 2 leading Israeli human rights groups accused their own country of genocide. This is the first time any major Israeli rights groups have publicly come to that conclusion. Also this week, Prime Minister Keir Starmer announced the United Kingdom plans to recognize a Palestinian state in September. This follows a similar announcement by France. Now, while more than 140 countries already recognize Palestine as a state, these will be the first of the G7 group of industrialized nations to do so. Prime Minister Mark Carney says Canada will do so as well, noting that the, quote, level of human suffering in Gaza is intolerable. This is the place the man tasked by the president with bringing about a peace deal wore a Make America Great Again hat. Joining me now, Nicholas Kristof, Pulitzer Prize-winning columnist for The New York Times, author of the book Chasing Hope, A Reporter's Life, and somebody who is not at all surprised by what the Trump administration seems to be learning this week by visiting Gaza. In fact, one doesn't need to visit Gaza to understand the humanitarian tragedy that has been reported there for months. Nick.
Absolutely. And, I'm afraid it would be great if this visit to Gaza was somehow a spur to action and exploration of what could be done to actually address the situation. But I'm afraid it's a substitute for action, not a spur to it. And, we see a continued defense of the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, which has been a catastrophe. It was predicted to be a catastrophe, replacing the UN as a way of distributing food. And it has indeed proved to be that catastrophe. The idea that you can only have 4 distribution sites, forcing malnourished, starving people to walk miles to get a package that doesn't even include the kind of specially formulated nutritious foods for malnourished children in particular. The fact that 80% of those who have died of starvation in Gaza so far, according to UNICEF, are children. And I got to say that one thing I've seen all over the world in covering hunger crises is that you get to a tipping point, and children especially don't have the bodily reserves to survive this. So once you get to that tipping point, you begin to see mortality very, very quickly. And I'm afraid we are at that point, and unless they very, very quickly, bring in these thousands of trucks from the other side and make sure they're not being shot at, make sure that the UN system is back in place to distribute at hundreds of locations across Gaza, I think we're going to see a big increase in mortality.
So you've covered famines, you've covered hunger crises around the world, you've covered all of these things. And in many of these places, there isn't actually access to food, ready access to food. But in the region that Gaza sits, there is no shortage of food at all. But we have tried everything. We've had piers that the U.S. government built rather than just exert pressure on Israel to let food in. We have airdrops of food. We have all sorts of things going on as opposed to roads. Like Israel could just let the food in. There's food, there are trucks, they're ready to go, and there's no more efficient way to get food to hungry people than actually on trucks rather than dropping them from planes and trying to ship them in and build fake piers.
Oh, that's exactly right. I mean, if you think about the airdrops of food, which we tried earlier, and which in the end actually killed 5 starving people that they landed on, we did the Berlin airlift in 1948 because the enemy, the Soviet Union, had blocked road access. Well, this time we've used airdrops because a ally who we are providing weapons to was blocking road access, in effect. And, this isn't just a failure of the Trump administration. It was also a failure of the Biden administration in its failure to use the leverage that we have by providing the weapons and not insisting that food be provided to starving people, especially when it is children who were disproportionately doing the dying. We have that leverage. Past presidents have periodically used it. It's not easy, but the upshot of our failure to use it is we are complicit in this starvation and in these deaths.
And we're starting to see global pressure. We're starting to see, even in the United States, the Senate, many more senators now voting in favor of conditioning aid to Israel. But back to the food point for a second. The Israelis say that people are rioting and they're getting violent to get the food. David Miliband, who has experience similar to yours around the world, says if you just provide the food, you take away a whole lot of the tension around getting the food, the trekking to these forced sites, the fighting over what food is available. You can actually remove the violence from the situation or the fact that you've created food into this super valuable commodity by just providing enough of it.
I think that David is right about that it's the absence of food that is creating the riots. It is also true that the insecurity is a real problem. That insecurity flows from the fact that Israel has refused to create a post-war governance structure. It has refused to allow the Palestinian Authority, for example, to take over. It has refused to think about what the day after is. And, originally, the Hamas police force, the civilian police, were providing security for convoys. And then the IDF began shooting those escorts. And so then the convoys were unescorted. In addition, Israel was backing clans that were kind of gangster clans opposed to Hamas to create an anti-Hamas force. But then those gangs have apparently also been attacking the convoys. So the insecurity issue is a genuine problem in this initial phase, trying to bring food in, but it's a problem that has been created by the failure to allow some kind of a governance structure like the PA in Gaza.
Nicholas, good to talk to you. Thank you, as always, for your great reporting on issues like this. Nicholas Kristof is a Pulitzer Prize winning columnist for the New York Times.